Good morning, everyone. Kansas Sports HQ here, episode 70. We're going to have Farmhouse Sports with us today. They play in the Summer Ball Showdown. They've been in the top 4 every year they've participated. We're excited to have Dalton Wason join us here shortly. But first, how are you guys today?
Good. Meetings on meetings.
Yeah.
Going around today. Good.
Yeah. Got to fix a drinking fountain.
Okay, so working on it. Trying to figure out exactly what happened.
Yeah. Sean, how was your workout this morning?
It was good. It was good.
Just good?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of reps in a short amount of time.
Yeah. What'd you hit?
Legs.
Nice.
Had about after I got warmed up, went to the bathroom naturally. Had about 30 minutes. So 35 minutes and got about 110 reps in of everything. So
Oh, wow. That's crazy. So are you going to be wobbly later?
yeah, I'm already there.
Already wobbly?
Yeah.
Love that.
But I have this soup in front of me.
Oh, you do?
Yeah. Yep. We talked about it yesterday. I don't think anybody listened yesterday because that was
Different kind of episode.
yeah. But Dave's lasagna soup.
My attempt at it. You be the judge.
First response.
It's very good. Very soupy, very lasagna.
I was going to say, give us a little more. What, soupy lasagna?
Yep.
Interesting.
Nailed it.
Got it.
Said I nailed it. That's funny. Good morning,
5 out of
Dalton.
6.
How are you?
What's going on? How are you doing?
Not too bad. We're just going through the morning stuff. Kind of gave a little preview about FSP. And so real quick, what we do is we talk about you and you know, FSP, your business, and kind of just help you guys promote it and bring people closer to your brand. So when you come visit us, you know, you can maybe get some fans.
Awesome. Yeah. Perfect.
So I have Sheldon Howell here, Sean Cutler. Sean coaches with the Valley Center Mud Daubers and coaches at Wichita Parisi. Sheldon, obviously the president of all the organizations that we operate and you know, designer of SBS. So
Awesome.
So yeah, I just tell us about you and FSP. I know you guys are from Texas.
Yeah. So Farmhouse Sports Performance. We started now about it was 6 years ago. We started FSP. My partner and I at the time, he ended up branching off doing something else, and I took over full time. Yeah, we're out of the Dallas area, but we've had guys, you know, from all over Texas. We've had guys from Lubbock, Midland area. We've had guys from Houston, San Antonio. You know, majority of our guys are Dallas guys. We're really lucky, especially with our college group, just because of the Dallas Athletic Conference here, one of the top junior college conferences. Plus, on top of that, you know, we have like Grayson, Weatherford, Tyler, other, you know, top 10 in the nation JUCOs in the area. So there's no lack of baseball talent here for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. So give us some background on you and then why you started FSP.
Yeah, for sure. So I played baseball my whole life, right-handed pitcher. High school, I went to Prosper High School here in the Metroplex, kind of just grew up in the area. You know, after I got to college, went through a couple different surgeries, ended up having 2 wrist surgeries, not baseball related. I was dunking a basketball, so don't recommend that. Grabbed onto the rim, felt the pop, tore my, was it the labrum in your wrist and then something else as well. Had 2 wrist surgeries, came back, ended up getting an extra year during you know, it was right around COVID. I'm in 2020 now, or 2019, 2020, and ended up getting an extra year eligibility. So went to Brookhaven Junior College here in Dallas. You know, a week before that spring season, I tore my labrum for the first time in my right shoulder, pitching shoulder. Ended up playing the whole season with it torn. Knew it was torn. Right after the season ended, had surgery on it. Went through physical therapy and rehab. Tore it again when I was about 3 weeks back into my return to throwing program. So two major shoulder surgeries. The second one was also bicep and rotator cuff.
Ooh.
Oof.
So yeah, not fun, not something you want as a pitcher for sure. Once that happened, I kinda knew that was about it on my playing days. So from there on, I decided I wanted to help coach guys and give guys the opportunity to maybe learn that I didn't have while they're in high school and earlier in college. I was blessed to be able to train at some of the top sports performance facilities. I went up to Driveline, trained with Tread for a while, and then the one that really helped me the most was Cressy Sports Performance in Florida, actually. And that was kind of where my love for sports performance came from, learning from those guys and seeing we didn't really have a whole lot of that in the area at the time. Just kind of wanted to do something similar to that here in the Metroplex.
That's awesome, man. Do you guys have, like, a facility? Can you tell us a little bit about,
Yeah.
like, where you do everything out of?
So we actually just sold our second facility last year. So our first facility we started in Crum. This was three and a half, 4 years ago now. Our very first facility. We started in Crum. It was 5,000 square feet, full gym, batting cages, pitching mound, awesome. We had a guy come in and buy out the entire complex we were in.
Hmm.
So that was, he made an offer we couldn't say no to buy the complex. After that, we moved to the Lake Dallas area it was right around 3,500, 4,000 square feet, somewhere between there. So a little smaller, but again, great location, great area. Just a really awesome sports performance gym we had. And then, we just kind of outgrew that space. So I'm actually currently looking for our new location. Planning to get the ball rolling on that here pretty soon. We're
Are
looking
are you
kind of
gonna
in
go
the
big?
south. Yeah, definitely want to go a little bigger. Definitely closer to, at least that 5,000 square feet, but hopefully something more like 7,500 to 8,000
I
square
gotcha.
feet. That'd kind of be the ideal number, I think.
You don't wanna go 18,000?
No, 18,000 in the Metroplex that might break the bank a little bit.
For sure, for sure. Oh, I definitely understand that. I mean, when you come play the Summer Ball Showdown, you guys utilize the Wichita Parisi facility and everything like that, and that's
Yeah.
a cool 18,000 square feet.
Yeah, that thing is awesome. I mean, that's one of the best parts about the SBS World Series is being able to let our guys use that and warm up there, before our games. That's something awesome. We can also, get a workout in there after our games or before games. That's something that you guys really blessed us to be able to use.
Sure, sure. Yeah, it's real quick. The Summer Ball Showdown is the largest national tournament in the country of its kind. FSP has been a part of it. You're going into year three, right?
Year three,
Year
yes.
three, and we do a lot of player perks and team perks as you come in from out of town and all of that good stuff. It was a random phone call one day for Dalton and I, and then here we are entering year three, and FSP hasn't been outside the top four since.
No,
Um,
yeah.
and yeah. So talk to us about FSP. Like what you're specialized in. I know in our conversations last year you had quit coaching like baseball, but you
Yep.
had gone all into your facility stuff. FSP, why Farmhouse Sports?
So the name Farmhouse Sports originally comes from when we first started it. I was living in a really small town outside of the Metroplex, about an hour and a half away. Um, about 2,000 people. And one of the facilities, or one of the, I guess, facilities, one of the future locations we were looking at the time was actually an old, like an old farm barn.
Okay.
So we just kind of came up with the name there. FSP is 3 letters, something catchy, just something easy to remember. Makes for a good logo.
Easy to
Uh,
put on a hat.
Yeah, exactly. Easy to put on a hat, a shirt, whatever you want. You know, those were kind of things that went into the name. Yeah, so I was the pitching coach at Brookhaven College, not this year, but the past season. And that was an experience that I just loved. It's something that I think really helped me as a coach, being able to work with college athletes. And that was something also was kind of a last minute deal. Because the head coach currently at Brookhaven College, Shaquille Thomas, was the head assistant whenever I played there. And me and him have kept in contact. He's just an awesome guy, an awesome coach, and somebody who really made an impact on me. And he called me, maybe a week and a half, 2 weeks before the junior college season started here the fall, and they had just lost their pitching coach at the time. And he said, "Hey, I know you have Farmhouse, and I know you're busy with this other stuff, but do you want to come in and be our guy, our pitching coach, and work with our guys?" And that was just an opportunity I couldn't say no to. It's something I've always wanted to do, is be a college pitching coach. So jumped on that. Ended up having four all conference guys. The set a school record in ERA, set his record for wins since he's been the head coach there now. So we just had an awesome staff. We've sent three guys to the Division I level, and then there's another two guys there this year, at least two, that'll be going to the Division I level. So we were really talented on the pitching side of things there. So that was something that I really enjoyed. And I really contemplated doing it again, being able to return, but I just felt that Farmhouse kind of Farmhouse needed me to grow. So that was something I kind of had to weigh in on. And at the end of the day, you don't make much money as a junior college pitching coach.
Sure.
So that was something I kind of thought about for a long time, and then came to the decision of, hey, I really need to, get my business going, get Farmhouse going. And since then, we've really focused on the sports performance side and our college side. Because again, I think, a lot of the Metroplex and a lot of people in general focus on youth baseball, and that is something we've expanded into some, and will continue to do in the future. But having our college guys there, along with the sports performance, those are the two things I enjoy the most. That's kind of our bread and butter. And at the end of the day, do what you enjoy, do what you love, and those are the two things that I love the most. So
Sure, sure. So you kind of hinted at it a few times, but that passion that you have for coaching and helping athletes, are you the type of coach that is giving back to the athletes as a coach that you wish you had, or did you have a coach that was the style that you are now?
yeah. So I was blessed with some really awesome coaches, some really good coaches, and then through my years, I've had some really bad coaches. I'm sure, as most people have. It's kind of both ways, and from there, you kind of learn what you like and what you don't like about every coach you have. Um, you know, I tell guys sometimes the coaches you don't like the most are the ones that make the biggest impact on you, just because you learn what you don't like about coaching, or how you want to be, how you don't want to be, and you learn to battle through adversity. And no matter what the situation is, if you're going to be a dude, go be a dude, right? I mean, whether or not the coach is your favorite person or not, you still got to go perform under any circumstance. So that's something, I really preach with my guys, but I was blessed with some really awesome coaches. I would say I've taken a few aspects of a couple of my different coaches I've had. Um, I'm a guy who I want to give as much information to my athletes as I possibly can. Um, I'm not a coach who is going to say, "Hey, you're going to do it my way, or you're not going to be here." There's certain things that you have to be like that with, such as like hustle and effort, things like that. Those are non-negotiables. But outside of that, if guys are giving you full effort and you can have a conversation with your athletes about what works for them, what doesn't work for them, and why. Not only does it, help them become better athletes and learn why certain things work and certain things don't, but at the same time, it helps you build a connection and relationship with each athlete.
Yeah, absolutely. We actually talk about that a lot with some coaches on here, and it's cool to hear you saying that. Being far away from us, or well, I guess it's only like 4 hours, but you know, but what are some what's the FSP model look like for your college guys when you're recruiting? I mean,
Yeah.
what kind of athlete are you looking for, and are you limiting yourself to the greater Dallas area, or are you reaching out to others all over the world?
No, so definitely. So our model looks like, just for example, in the summer, we play here in the collegiate league here in the Metroplex. It's one of the top college leagues there is in general, but definitely the top one in the Dallas Metroplex. Every week you're going to face Division 1 arms, Division 2 arms, top NAIA arms. Every team top to bottom is going to have multiple 90 plus guys. On the bump, guys who can swing it. So that's something that we really go after guys who can compete in that league. Um, and I'll take some high school seniors that just recently graduated or guys going into their senior year, if they can handle that. It just kind of depends on the physicality. Because at the end of the day, most guys are just underweight, right? Especially the younger guys. So that's something we really look for, when taking in younger guys is, okay, is this guy going to be able to handle, seeing 90 plus every at bat during the summer? Because at the end of the day, you know, in our league, of course, we want to win every single game we play, but at the same time, it's about guys' development. And if a guy just doesn't have the ability to compete at the collegiate level yet, it's not good for him and it's not beneficial for us either. So that's something we really look at when recruiting guys. And we've had guys, from the Houston area, from the San Antonio area that make the drive up here. Our collegiate summer league works is we play 3 games a week. We play doubleheader on Mondays, and then we play on either a Tuesday or a Wednesday, a single. So it's not too demanding, not too overloaded, and if guys are from the out of town area, they can drive up for the games and easily drive home after, even if it is a little bit of a drive. And then as far as for the SBS World Series, we've the last couple years we've done a lot of recruiting on Twitter actually. I'll find guys on Twitter who may have shut down for the summer and built back up, and they're just kind of getting ready for school to start and won a couple innings here or there, or guys like that. And also the guys I've been coaching for a while now, we've sent, oh, I think Farmhouse, since we've started, has sent right around 15-ish guys to the Division 1 level, between 14 or 15, to the Division 1 level. So I have a few of those guys that, again, they'll play in, maybe a bigger summer league somewhere, the Alaskan League or somewhere in the Midwest. And then, they kind of come home for the last couple weeks before school starts, and, maybe they want a couple extra at bats or a couple innings on the bump or something like that. So we've been very lucky to get a few of those guys the last couple years as well.
Nice, nice. So tell us about your SBS experience. I don't want to be like day one, but what are some things that you look forward to when you come out to the Summer Ball Showdown? It's we know it's an experience for everyone with the community, but we don't always hear all the cool stuff that the teams enjoy. So
Definitely.
give us a rundown for that, because I am going to use this as a recruiting tool.
Definitely. That the SBS World Series is kind of a different animal. It's a lot of fun. I've never heard a negative thing from any of our guys about it. All of our guys drive up a day early. In general, we stay at the, what is it? I think the Comfort Inn there downtown, Wichita, which is, roughly a 15-minute drive to the complex, which is awesome. It's not far. It's right there by the Parisi Sports facility. Um, our guys really enjoy just spending time together. They go to all the restaurants, whether it's Twin Peaks or Hooters, whatever it is. They enjoy going to the ballpark, getting the free food, watching the baseball games, all the experiences as well, such as the home run derby and just all kinds of stuff like that's a lot of fun. I know last year, me and a few of our players, we went and golfed a couple of the mornings we weren't playing. So, there's a whole lot of things to do there in the Wichita area.
Yeah, do you guys, I mean, you guys have been lucky to pull late games
Yeah.
most of the time, and that's a big plus side too. Do you guys have like a watch party during the live drawing for your first 2 days, the blind draw?
Yeah, definitely. So I send not so much a party, but I send a link and we have a group chat with all of our collegiate guys and we're all in there having a good time and figuring out, who we're going to be playing and things like that and kind of what the plan will be, but it's a lot of fun.
The with the sandbox opening up last year and being available to the public, I know you guys made a couple visits over there. What's it like having access to? I mean, your hotel is in Wichita, but they do have a hotel on site and then a restaurant right next to the ballpark. Is that a pretty cool experience for you guys? Because I mean,
Yeah.
you guys played what an 7 or 8 p.m. game, and then went over to the sandbox, and then I think you guys watched fireworks over there.
Yeah. So that was the night of the big fireworks event. And again, that's actually something I didn't mention that all of our guys loved is the big fireworks event. This past year, we actually played during the fireworks. So that was one of the games where it was paused and then we all got to watch the fireworks and then we finished up our game. And that was just an awesome experience to see. I mean, there's just a ton of fireworks going off at once and you know, that's something everybody really enjoyed for sure.
I think fireworks, baseball, beer, and hot dogs all go together. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's pretty American.
Pretty American. It doesn't get much more American than that.
There you go.
Right, right. So what are when you're recruiting, like what's
Mhm.
your pitch to them? Like, but don't give me all the
So,
details. We don't want to
yeah.
like, sell your secrets. We just, like how do we help you get players that can get you over the hump in that championship game?
Yeah. So, at the end of the day, I do recruit most of my guys from the DAC here local in Dallas. I have guys who trained with me and have played with me at pretty much every single junior college here in Dallas. So I'll go out and watch those guys and talk to some of their teammates and talk to them after games. The biggest thing is just transparency. Telling them, hey, like, I'm not going to blow out your arm if you come pitch for me this summer. You're expected just a couple innings a week here and there, like a bullpen almost. And at the end of the day, if guys want to train because they feel like they need to elevate their game before, say before going to an NCAA school or an NAIA school when they're at the junior college level, I'm going to tell them, okay, then if you're training, then you might not need to play summer ball with me. Just because it could be a conflict of, hey, I don't want you to, if you're supposed to be taking time off from throwing and focusing on the weight room or whatever it is, right? I don't want you to go against your plan, to better yourself just because you want to play an extra couple innings here and there, right? So that's something I really talk about with a lot of the guys, make sure they know, I want to do what's best for them. I'm not going to sit here and try to, blow out their arms or win every single summer ball game. That's just not realistic. It's summer ball. We're there to have fun and get reps. We're there to, for guys to get at bats, for guys to treat their pitching like, like a bullpen almost, right? So it's one of those things where I'll tell them those things about the league. I'll tell them the competition they're going to face. And then, of course, I tell them about the SBS World Series. One of the perks about finishing where we finished last couple of years is, okay, we got a guaranteed spot to go back the next year. At the end of the day, we have the name Farmhouse Sports Performance. It's, we're slowly building up that reputation. We need to maybe win the SBS, but then we'll have the reputation of, okay, we got to go back and at least, get to that championship game every single year.
Yeah, speaking of players, we share a little bit of a connection there. A couple years ago, 2024 summer, I had Luis Fuenmayor on
Okay.
our
Yeah.
team, and then had Clay Mixon on our team as well. And I believe you worked with Clay at Brookhaven, if I'm not
Yeah. Clay
mistaken.
was at Brookhaven. He was there with me last year at Brookhaven. Got to know Clay really well. Got to work with Clay a lot, and phenomenal young man. Just committed to Houston
Yeah,
Baptist or Houston Christian now. And then Luis as well. Luis was at Brookhaven with me
right.
that
Okay.
year, and then this past summer, Luis played for FSP.
Yeah, I saw him up there. That was really fun to catch up with him this past Summer Ball Showdown. And I also, you guys made the SBS history with those sleeveless uniforms going up there too.
That's what I was going to ask about.
Yeah.
where-
So
where-
what was the inspiration for that?
So we actually had, I guess, the wife beaters, and they
Oh.
were supposed to say FSP on the front. The cutoff shirts. Those were supposed to say FSP on the front. And the logos actually melted on them. So I went to some blowout, online uniform website thing just to find some cheap sleeveless uniforms, and those were the first ones on there. So those are what we got for that.
Yeah, those
I
things
think
were the
it's-
talk
yeah,
of
it
the
was a-
tournament for
it was a
sure.
hit.
Everybody was
Yeah.
like, "What the hell are these guys wearing?
Well, I think
Like, what is
everybody-
this?"
They saw you warming up in them, and everybody probably thought you were just they were just your kind of your
Like
BP
warm up,
shirts,
yeah,
and
like
then you
tone
put the
setters.
jersey on eventually, and you never did. And we're like, all right, cool. Let's go.
Yeah, no, we have those, and then we had the full black pinstripes.
Yeah,
Those I like those a lot. I like the sleeveless were good. The guys love the sleeveless. I actually just put in an order for a new set of sleeveless for this next upcoming summer. The guys like showing off the guns,
Oh,
showing
yeah.
off the gains in the weight room and stuff. And again, we have a good time.
yeah.
That's the whole goal. We want to have a fun time, a positive experience for these college guys. Show them what it's really supposed to be about in the summer. You want to be competitive. You want to go out there and win every single rep, but you can have fun doing it, right? And that's something
You
that's
guys
really
lucked
important.
out this last summer because it was actually a lot cooler temperature wise. Normally, you
Oh.
have those on, you guys would be winning for sure because
Yeah.
it's like 103 out there. But
Next
whatever,
year,
this last summer was like 78 a couple
yeah,
days.
yeah,
Like,
with
it
all
was
the
so weird.
storms that came through.
Yeah.
But with this next year, you got those sleeveless again. I don't know if it was like 7-8 years ago. Cincinnati Reds had those sleeveless uniforms. They had the curl bar in the dugout, and they were
Yeah,
repping out curls.
Dietrich.
Yeah, Derek Dietrich. Yeah, and then
Yeah.
I think they had Lorenzen on that team because Lorenzen's
Mhm.
got some pipes as well. Man, they're in there pumping out iron
Just
before
make sure
they
you
go back.
bring me one of those sleeveless ones. We need to do like a little jersey swap or something
Yeah,
at
jersey
the
swap.
end of
Need
a
to have
game.
something there, yeah.
I need to do that. I got a
We can
Parisi
figure
shirt
something
for you
out.
for sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Also, I wanted to ask. I think you probably hit on it a few times already. Your sports for performance facility, is that mainly just baseball for the performance side, or is it all athletes? How do you kind of go
Yeah.
with things there?
So I've worked with track, football, basketball. We've had some softball, golf. We've worked with athletes from every sport. Of course, it is mainly baseball, just due to the fact of those are most of the guys I recruit to come up and train or play for me in the summers. But a lot of the walk-ins are football. That's probably our second biggest sport of guys we had at the facility. And that's kind of another, it's similar but different in terms of how you go about training those guys, because the strength and conditioning is very similar. The speed and agility stuff's very similar. It's all just about being as explosive as possible for pretty much any sport. You just want to build a good, strong, solid athlete. I would say the biggest difference is just going to be timing wise, and, say if a guy's throwing, 50, 60 pitches, okay, we might have him not be doing certain exercises to put extra stress on, his rotator cuff, his labrum, things like that. Certain times of the year, it just kind of depends where guys are at. And different seasons of sport are going to be different buildups too. Different strength versus speed blocks, things like that. Just kind of depending what time of the year it is with what sport.
Do you guys typically do like what's your structure like with the sports performance side? Obviously, we run
Okay, yeah,
a speed school, so we're
yeah,
in the same space in some aspects. But do you guys like for us, just give you I answer my own question kind of, but we, like we run like class settings and then we have individualized stuff. We have, one-on-one, small groups, big groups, that type of thing. Like how do you guys go about like your formatting of what you do? I'm sure your college guys
yeah,
is a little more individualized, a little more one-on-one based there, but
definitely.
what's like
So
your day to
everyone,
day?
so everyone will come in for an assessment. And we've done youth groups and classes in the past where we're just teaching the foundations and the basics of how to do push-ups, how to do pull-ups, things like that. Correct, explosive stances, things like that. How to jump. For our college guys and the older high school guys, everybody will come in for a individual assessment. And in that assessment, we just want to make sure you can get into certain positions, right? Whether it's hip mobility problems, ankle mobility, shoulder mobility, whatever it is, we'll test all those things. We'll test your 1 rep maxes, and again, depending on the sport. I'm a big sumo deadlift guy over trap bar or conventional. I just think it is one of the best posterior chain movements, in terms of just absolute strength, which, that doesn't always translate to baseball or football, but just in terms of a baseline number, I think that's a really good test. We test that. We test pull-ups. We test bench press. If guys have the shoulder mobility, if they don't have that shoulder mobility, we're not going to have them bench press just because we don't want to get guys hurt. We're going to work on that. So we kind of see where guys come in as a baseline, test their vertical jump, test their 60, things like that. If they're a baseball guy, we'll test their exit velos, their throwing velocities, just different testing metrics for different sports. And then from there, we kind of build a baseline plan of, okay, the first week or two is going to be kind of going over the plan, showing them how to execute every movement, kind of what we're looking for in certain movements. That's a little more hands-on where you watch guys and make sure they're doing it correctly. And then after that, they'll have 4-week blocks, of whether it's a more of an explosive speed block or a strength block. Normally go back to back for a couple weeks if they have the time. We'll do longer periods of strength training, and then kind of, and we still utilize speed training during that time, but it's just a little less of the focus. And then we move into that kind of on the on ramp towards season, where we might do a little bit extra sprint work, a little bit extra jump, more rotational stuff. Rotational med ball work is one of the biggest things we work on as well. Change of direction, things like that. Those are just all really important things we train and look for.
So do you do like take me through like an evening with Dalton, right? Like I show up to the
Okay.
facility.
Yeah.
Like what's your nightly routine kind of looking like? Like what's your how many kids are you working with in an evening time? Like how
Yeah.
busy do you get? Like 'cause I'm sure it's busy, right? So
Okay.
how do
Well,
you
as like right now, this very second, we're in the process of looking for a new facility, but I
Oh,
can take
sorry.
you
I may
back
have
a
missed that.
couple of months. I'll take you back a couple of
Okay,
months when
deal.
it was, yeah.
Yeah.
A couple of months ago, we were, so I would go into the facility in the afternoon. Of course, there's always going to be a couple guys walk in asking, "Hey, what is this? What do you guys do?" Looking around, whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
Whether they want to, because we have batting cages and stuff too, we rent out. So some guys will rent batting cages. If the times line up where we're not going to be using it, we had a full turf area and a gym. So generally, we'll have guys start, dwindling in. Be sitting at my desk overseeing things. They have we have a big, I guess, binder holder.
Yeah.
So every athlete will have their own binder with their training splits in it, their block, what workouts they're doing, what percentages. Another thing we utilize is VBT.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So we have jump mats and VBT. So those are two things I'll make sure are set up in the correct areas before guys get in. I'll have the music I'll have some old Jeezy or Gucci Mane or Webby, something to get the guys going.
There you go.
We'll have that going on. Our high school and college guys will come in the afternoon. They'll come get their books and start, figuring out what their splits are. They go through their dynamic warm up and then they get started. And then for me, it's, if I walk around and watch, make sure guys are doing things correctly, make sure guys aren't getting hurt, whatever it is, right? And then
Mhm.
if we do have newer guys there, I'll be with them a little more, of course, giving them a little more hands-on attention, making sure they know what they're doing. And that's the most important thing, is conveying exactly what your expectations are, what you think, is the best possible route to help them get to their outcomes. Because if you guys are on the same page about that, then teaching and coaching is so much easier, right? If
Mhm.
they understand, hey, to get to point C, I have to do point A, then do point B, and then okay, then I get to C. It's a lot easier when you teach it like that, and not just say, hey, I want you to go do squat, and then that's it, right? You
Right.
gotta teach them to understand why you do it this way,
Mhm.
because then they almost teach themselves in a way,
Yeah.
right? And then you're just overseeing and making sure they're correct.
Yeah, I love the attention to detail is obviously a big thing, and
Mhm.
that's what's part of why you guys are being successful is because these guys, especially college and high school especially, but college even, unless they're at some pretty renowned bigger Division 1 schools, right? The information that they're getting and the programming at a lot of places is very subpar,
Yeah.
and it's below average, and it's more busy work than anything else. And some places are great, but the vast majority of them, they just don't get them the stuff to really take their game to the next level. And obviously that's why there's a market and there's an industry such as ours, because we're trying to bridge that gap. And I think you guys are doing a really good job at that. And I, just commend you on that because I think it's cool. Hopefully you guys, where are you looking for a new facility at? Are you looking in the Dallas area? Or are you looking
Yeah,
just about
we're
anywhere?
mainly looking in kind of the southeast area of Dallas.
Okay,
I
cool.
think that's a really good area. A lot more, bigger warehouses as well to choose from.
Yeah,
Just more opportunity and options. Not a whole lot of sports performance in that area as well.
which is
A lot
crazy
of
to think.
amazing athletes though.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. That's why I mean, it's just crazy to think a place that of that size, I feel like it would be littered with just all kinds of
yeah.
random things, but they may just be like
Oh,
smaller,
well, they are. Yeah, but they're not.
Right.
And when I say there's not, a ton of sports performance over there already, I'm not saying there's not any. I'm
Mhm.
saying they're not. Those might be the facilities that are just kind of collecting checks from guys, their monthly
Mhm.
checks, and going through the motions. But that's not what we do.
Yeah.
That's
Well, we
not
got we
what
got plenty of
you know.
those. That's a
Yeah,
fact. You can run into those just all over the place, but
yeah,
we ain't gotta get into it. So
no,
anyways, but no, I love that, man. I think it's awesome. I think it's cool what you guys are up to and what you're doing. The team wide thing. I mean, I think you guys are doing a great job in representing, the way that it should be ran. And there's a lot of heartfelt care behind the way that your approach is with the guys and how you're going about trying to develop them, right, and give them
yeah,
good opportunity and give them something that you didn't get, at every level anyway. So I think that part
mhm.
of the story is really cool, and I think it's something that's exciting. So just wanted to kind of throw that in there.
Awesome. Well, I
So
appreciate that.
yeah, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, you mentioned obviously, I'm sure your right arm is all scarred up from everything, but that's a heavy toll physically and a heavy toll mentally. Obviously, you had to is that kind of your and you mentioned your coaching style a little bit already, but is that kind of your main
Yeah.
inspiration um to help guys, and how do you kind of help guys with injury as well?
Yeah, so, something I was very big on was the mental side of baseball. While I was coaching at Brookhaven, because you see a lot of younger, a lot of the guys we had were just right into college, fresh out of high school guys who, they might have been from smaller schools, right? Smaller high schools. They've never faced adversity. They've just blown everybody away. And then they get to college and they're like, oh, everybody's as good as me, right? We have guys like that. We have guys who might have had injuries in the fall, injuries in the spring, whatever it is. And that was something that was really tough for me. The first 2 times I got hurt and ended up never playing baseball again, and, the way it happened was pretty unfortunate, so that's something that's very important to me is teaching guys how to be successful men, not just, "Okay, I'm just a baseball player," right? Now, how to be successful at anything in life, how to be successful human beings, right? Just being a good person, being a good teammate. Because at the end of the day, and I say this all the time to my guys is, in 10 years from now, 15 years from now, you're not going to remember what anybody's stats were on the team except maybe your own. You're going to remember who was a good teammate and who was a good person, right?
Yeah.
And so, those are just really important things to remember. Not so much, and you can't get caught up in your stats. And of course, everybody wants good stats, especially because I do have a bunch of junior college guys, right? And you got to put up numbers to go to 4-year schools and go to bigger schools. But at the same time, you have to be a good teammate. You have to be a good person if you want to play for
Absolutely.
me, at least.
Yeah, no, I think you nailed it on the head right there. That's when you're when 1%, of these college guys actually, make it to the next level, roughly.
Mhm.
So when you're looking back on your college days, you're exactly right. Like you're not necessarily looking as, I mean, you might remember somebody like, okay, yeah, they were a dog. But
Yeah,
if you don't talk to them anymore, there's a reason for that. So I think one of the biggest positives about playing college ball is those relationships you make, and you're going to have a lot more of those relationships if you're a good teammate, and that's what lasts, years and decades long are those relationships you build in that process, as opposed to, what kind of stats you put up, how many wins you got, so on and so forth.
yeah,
That's the best part about college baseball, whether that is school ball or whether that's summer ball.
yeah, absolutely. And summer ball is another cool opportunity because, especially here, we have 5 different junior colleges just in the DAC, right? The Dallas Athletic Conference. And then on top of that, we have just in the area, Weatherford, Grayson, even like McLennan, right? It's an hour and a half, 2 hours away. It's not that far. It's in Waco. We have a lot of really just amazing talent, and and the Metroplex also sends guys to JUCOs all over. But all these guys come back home for the summer, right? And you might have a mixture of D3 JUCO guys, D2 JUCO guys from Oklahoma, right? D1 JUCO guys at Grayson, Weatherford, Blinn, Howard, McLennan. Then you have Division 1 guys, you have your Division 2 guys, Division 3 guys, and it's just a huge mix of different guys who have had different coaches, different opportunities, different, levels that they've got to play. Um, one thing I've really noticed is, showing the guys who have maybe played at a lower level, it's not a lot of times their talent that's keeping them back, right? It's their preparation, their mentality, and how they go about things. Because especially, at Brookhaven, which is a Division 3 JUCO, the smallest level of college baseball, right? It's one of the better JUCOs there is. We play Tyler, we play Howard, Grayson, McLennan, Weatherford, Paris every single year. We play with those guys and beat those guys. Just showing those guys, hey, just because you're at this small level, like your talent's there, it's how you go about things, your preparation, your training styles, your mentality, grades are super important. There's a lot of different factors. It's not only your talent level keeping you here, right? Once they understand that, it kind of changes their outlook and changes things. I found that helps a lot of guys find their best fit for their next school.
Absolutely.
Well, and just being the best version of who you are as a player.
Mhm.
I talk to our guys, literally all of our athletes about this all the time. I think that there should be more of an importance placed on playing college sports as in the sense of like, hey, like you are making it. Like you're making it to a level that vast majorities of athletes don't get to go to, right? So in
Yeah,
having that thought process be like, man, okay, like I've made it. Now let's do something with it, right? And I think as,
yeah,
as young dreamers and kids that watch the game and they see all these things, it's kind of everybody gets in this, professional or bust mentality. And it's like you go to these colleges and it's just like, yeah, it is what it is kind of mentality. And I'm not saying everybody thinks that. It's just, it almost seems more common now that like you're playing a college sport, and you got to kind of remind people like, no, dude, like playing in college it's a huge success. Like it's something that not everybody gets to do. You have to earn your right to have the opportunity to go and do it. But then while you're there, it's like you get the chance to really truly be the best version of the player that you're meant to be. How are you going to take advantage of that opportunity? Like, how are you going to? It doesn't matter where you're at, right? You can be a Division III, you could be a D1 player, and anywhere in between, right? It does not matter where you are. If you are not the best guy on that team or girl on that team, whatever sport you're playing, right? Like, then you got work to do, right? Like you still need to be accelerating and finding ways to better yourself. And I don't know, I hear that from young athletes in this day and age quite often, where it's just like, well, college, it's not that it's expected because everybody knows how hard it is to get there, but they don't look at it like it's as big of a success as I think we should put importance on that, right? And,
Absolutely.
it's just, it doesn't matter the level. If you're in college and you're playing, you've already beat 90 some odd % of athletes that are playing the same sport. Like, so you're at the top of the top. Now you got to do something with it, right? Now you got to double down on the work, double down on the preparation, double down on all of the stuff that helped you get there, and then see what level you can really push yourself to go. And the harsh realities is not very many people make it past that. Like it's just the harsh realities of our sport, right? The 0.00005% of the people that play at the professional level, right? There's certain indicators and certain things that you got to kind of have physically, but also mentally to be able to perform at those levels of what they're expecting. So, it's just in overall, and I think again, I said it already, but I think you guys are doing a really good job of helping promote that, right? Like helping these guys really see the journey and see how to do it and see how to put some of that stuff together, because we should be celebrating these kids that make it to the level. They should be celebrating with themselves though. Like they should hold their hat up and be like, man, like, okay, like I did something that not everybody did, but it doesn't stop there, right? Like how do we keep it going? Like how do you keep pushing yourself? So I think that part of it's really cool. And I think that, just what we do in the summertime and how you guys are doing it in the summertime, I think we're fueling that fire. We're fueling that vehicle, if you will. And I hope that people that hear this, take that and hopefully it kind of pushes them in a good direction.
Definitely. And just real quick to piggyback off that also, I mean, if you're a high school junior, high school, even sophomore, high school senior, you're uncommitted, you don't know where you want to go yet. I really recommend you go watch some junior college baseball games. Go watch a Division III baseball game, an NAIA baseball game. If you see these guys and you're not at their metrics, right? If you're not at the same body weight, if everybody looks bigger than you, if everybody's throwing harder than you, right? Then maybe you need to reassess and, work with the sports performance facility wherever you're at, or train and figure it out to be able to get to that level. Because that's something you see all the time, is somebody who might think they're better than, say, a Division III junior college. And then, especially me coaching there last year, I got to see that all the time. Guys would come on visits and we'd be talking before the visit and they're like, yeah, I'm really thinking about going, Division I, Division II, whatever it is. And I'm just looking for some options. And like, okay, right. Have them throw a bullpen, top out 81.
81 and they're
There's
145
curveball,
pounds.
they're curveball cement mixes, right?
Yeah.
They're 5'10", $140, and it's, brother, you couldn't play for us.
Right.
Well,
Like,
that's your plug right there. Come see him. Farmhouse Sports Performance. Yeah,
definitely.
We talk about the jump all the time. I mean, I like talking about it because I don't think that there's enough information out there on it. Like, I think it's like the ugly truth of college sports that nobody wants to address, because the harsh reality of it is most kids don't work hard enough to play it. They don't they don't sacrifice. They don't do the things that is necessary to make it to the next level. And I do not care if it's NAIA, Division III. I don't give a shit what level it is. If you don't do the work you're not gonna make it there. Like, it's just like you just said, go watch any level of college. I assure you, especially for men, like, go see the level of intensity that is played on that field. And as a junior in high school, you tell me that you deserve to walk out on that field with those guys. You're
Yeah.
scared shitless. Like, there ain't no way that you understand it. Like, it's just the speed of the game, the way that it operates, the level of intensity. Like, it is a jump that you can't quantify it in words. Like, it's just you until you're in the mix of that survival mindset every single day. Like, you just don't understand that level of competition. Like, it is a massive jump for kids. So we talk about it all the time because I want guys and gals to, like, just understand or at least have the opportunity to hear what they're getting themselves into, because I mean that the level of competition is just it's do or die, eat or go home. Like, you're like, it's a whole different, it's a different culture, it's a different atmosphere. And athletes, I hope that they listen. I hope that they understand it, because I assure you, if you think you're working hard enough, work harder. If you think that you're
Yeah.
doing the things right now, do more. Like, I say this all the time when we're talking to parents around here. I'm always like, it's great that you're doing high school weights. It's great that you're doing high school condition. It's great that you're doing all that stuff. What are you doing to set yourself apart? What are you doing that's different than everybody else? Because the 90+% of the kids that play the sport in high school, guess what? They don't make it. They don't get to go to college. So what are you doing different? Like, what are you doing? Because if you're doing all the same things that they're doing, what type of result do you think you're going to get? Probably the same result that they're getting. Like, you have to separate. You have to do things outside of the box if you really want to put yourself into a position. Now, granted, there's the outliers, right? Like, everybody's got those freak athletes that are 6'6" at 16. Like, that ain't most of us, brother. Like, it's just the
Yeah.
reality of it. But there is some out there that, you're right, they may not be very talented, but some college coach is going to see them and go, oh, I'll build that guy. I'll make that guy make sense. Like, and there's those outliers, but most of the time that's not the realities of it. And it's just I hope that kids hear it, and I hope that they take it seriously, because there's a lot of talented kids that never see the light of day in college. And it's because they're underprepared. They're not ready. They get blown past because you got guys up there at a different level that are doing things at a quicker pace, and they just get left behind. So again, I appreciate what you guys are doing. I love it. It gets me excited, and I have high energy towards that stuff because it's what we do every day, and it's fun to hear that you guys are trying to do, very similar things there, and helping kids in the journey, and doing all the things. So again, commend you on that, man, and keep up the good work.
I appreciate it.
That's one of his endless rants. We could do it all day long. But now's the time for you to do your, like, shout outs and all that good stuff for Farmhouse and your college team.
Yeah. If you're a college athlete looking to play somewhere this summer, want to have a good time and go win the SBS, come play for Farmhouse.
Oh,
How's that
love
feel,
that.
Sean?
How does that feel, Sean, as a Valley Center Mud Dog?
Win the SBS? We'll see.
Win the SBS.
Well, he says we'll see. Ooh, little friendly competition here. Well, Dalton, it was awesome to have you on. I'll get this posted up and share it to you so you can throw it all out there. I expect to see the link on the Twitter page because I know people are watching you, and every time you share a post from SBS, it blows up. So it's always
Perfect.
good. But I appreciate you joining us, man. Thanks for jumping on.
Awesome. Yeah, appreciate you having me on.
Yep, we'll catch you later.
Perfect. I'll see y'all.
See you, buddy.
Man, Farmhouse Sports doing some cool stuff with all that sports performance things like we do here.
Yeah, so it's good to hear from the other coaches in the SBS, and then just getting a little insight about what they do, how they do things down there. I mean, that is a massive area down there.
Yeah.
The amount of
Absolutely.
athletics. in that.
Yeah. I mean,
It's
obviously,
crazy.
obviously the focus down there is football, but
You
I
can't
mean,
say it's slim pickings down there.
no. I mean,
You have access to
And guess what? You come up here and you still get.
oh man, how was your post workout meal?
It was good, man. It was good. The lasagna soup hit well. My knee hurts. My legs hurt. I'm tired. I'm gonna go to sleep.
Stretch out on the couch, take a nap.
Pull a notch. Well, I've done it before too, but
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a good conversation. Love hearing about other people's journeys and coaching styles and what they value. And normally it is roughly the same as us.
Yeah.
A few twists and turns here and there.
Different area, but
Yeah.
some variables obviously play into it because just where you live and the amount of, spending and things like that happen in certain areas. I mean, but the journey is kind of
We probably have
the same.
3 to 10 new people walking through the door every single day if we were down there.
Yeah, it'd be nuts.
Yeah.
It would be. We would need a lot more. Well, we
Need
need a lot more staff.
Yeah, way more.
Yeah, absolutely.
Especially if we had this facility down there.
Yeah, and that's the other part too. Is it's such a
You
busy,
weren't in
populated
earlier, but he
place.
said he was looking to expand, but he's still looking at like 7,000 to 8,000 square feet.
Yeah.
Kind of gave him a little razzle dazzle on the 18,000 square feet.
Yeah, Dave had to flex on.
They do love coming, but they come up here and they spend the day together and they work out, they get their hitting in, they go eat together. They actually, the one time I came in here to grab baseballs during the tournament, they had like the sprinkler on or the misters on, and just
we probably just forgot to turn it off.
Doing their thing, and then come out and flex with their sleeveless shirts. Just
I'm as he comes back up here, if I can catch him, try to pick his brain about what else he kind of does down there, sports performance size.
We could make that happen.
It sounds like they're a little more like where we're more like class based.
Yeah, probably a little bit more individual.
Theirs is a little more individualized, but I would guesstimate that's because
that's
of
probably the market. I mean, that's the market. That's the market
Yeah.
in there. I mean,
people aren't afraid to shell it out because they know the opportunity.
Especially
if they want to go in there and do the group thing, they probably want to.
Well, it's that, but I also think that because you have that many colleges around you, no matter what sport,
well, yeah, you're going to have a ton of college athletes.
You have a ton of people that they buy into the process of like, hey, everybody's doing it is that. You know what I mean? Like everybody's doing it is like, hey, there's 19 colleges that are within an hour of us, and I want to play college sports. So they do all of the stuff that's extra outside of the school.
Doing this isn't enough. School stuff isn't enough. Right. And we got to go find something on our own too.
We need to spend more time bettering ourselves because of how competitive it is. But newsflash, all the colleges compete against each other. So, it doesn't matter where you're at. Yeah. You need to be doing it too if you want to separate yourself.
School weights doesn't make you better.
Oh.
Next pod.
Subtle jab. All right. Well, Sean, do you mind leading us in prayer?
I do not. Lord, thank you for today. Thank you for just waking us up this morning, bringing us into another good conversation. Just thank you for connecting us with people all over the country, just so we can chat about stuff we talk about every day and relate and pick each other's brains and learn each other's stories. It's really, really special that you have given us this opportunity. Lord, I pray that we honor and glorify you with it. I pray for Wichita. I pray for all of our communities. Pray for their health. Pray for their safety, Lord. And in your glorious name I pray, Jesus. Amen.
Amen. Well, that's it for episode 70, Farmhouse Sports Performance. They're in Dallas, Texas. They play in the Summer Ball Showdown. They have not placed lower than 4th at the largest national tournament in the country of its kind, and we look forward to having them back in 2026. We'll see you guys next time. Thanks for joining us.